Were you guys ever around during the time when Gargara got a new model and everyone pointed out the fact that you could see the background through her chest? She had like a hole in her chest, and they made a big deal about it, and they started calling out the artist for having not checked to make sure their art was perfect for Gargara, and like how, it was kind of a scam because, she spent that much money and it wasn't even fully filled in and fully colored. Hey, what's up? I'm Kozii. I sometimes create models for myself, I sometimes create models for other people, and guess what? None of them are perfect. That might sound like kind of a silly statement to make, like, of course, not everything is gonna be perfect, but what I actually mean by that is that every single high-end rigger that you've ever known has made mistakes, and they will continue to make mistakes until the end of time. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is ever going to be perfect. But during this video, I actually wanted to get on camera, basically, and just show you guys some flaws of my model, of my really cool looking, oh my gosh, it's so well rigged kind of model. There's a lot of people that look up to me for rigging. There's a lot of people who have used like my mouth guides and stuff like that in the past. And I think there's a lot of people who are aspiring to be brand new live 2D creators that like have been watching some of my content over time. So what I want to do is basically showcase to you that every model has a bunch of mistakes on it and will always have a bunch of mistakes on it, and sometimes you're never going to notice things as the person that rigged a model until you see it in motion, or until somebody points it out to you later on, or any number of things. You're never going to have a moment where you create a model and literally everything about it is absolutely perfect. You will always have those tiny little flaws. I hate my flaws. They're the worst. But I'm gonna show them to you because I just want to prove to you that it's okay to have them and it's okay to make mistakes, and you can fix them over time. You don't have to fix it immediately. You don't even have to notice it immediately. Maybe you never notice it. Maybe there's always some kind of hole somewhere and it just stays there forever, and one other person notices it and they never say anything to you and you're just stuck like that. But that's just the way things are gonna be, you know? So let's start off top to bottom. First and foremost, for some reason, I seem to have a bit of shading on my ear that just kind of pokes off the side. And you'll never see it most of the time unless I'm using something like this, which has a filter that adds an outline. Just to showcase that. Here's another flaw about my ears too. When I get into this angle and I lift my head up and down, it kind of looks like my ear is like, I don't know, stabbing into my head weirdly. Oh yeah, and then there's another one right there. Look at that. My hair, there's like a little bit of my hair that like pokes up like that weirdly. And you can actually see that like when I get to some angles with my head. Really weird looking. There's also a bit, I think where my hair, the like outline of my hair on the top of my head pokes out. Oh yeah, you can't really see it super well, but you can kind of see if I do this, the outline kind of goes over that planet there. That bit's not supposed to stick out like that, but it does. Here's another fun thing. When I transition from this hairstyle into my longer hairstyle, oh, that is some interesting stuff happening at the top of my head, isn't it? Wow, that's crazy. And then also when I'm on the longer hairstyle, look at that. There's this little bit on my head that my hair just like sticks up weirdly. Like one of the pieces is just pushed too far forward on this angle. You also probably shouldn't look too closely at the turning of my hair pieces with the longer hairstyle, because if you look at the pieces that are right next to my ears here, you can see the back pieces moving out and it doesn't really blend right at all. Here's something that I didn't intend to happen. I set up a couple of different hairstyles for this model to be like different colors and stuff like that, and I actually forgot to change the eyebrow color on all except for the black one to a different tone. So any color hair that I have besides my normal one has the same black eyebrows. This one's not necessarily a flaw that I could have avoided very well, but every time I turn my head to one side and get far enough to the point where my cheek shows, it kind of like clips in like that weirdly. Most of the time you're not gonna see that though, because most of the time you're not really gonna be paying too much close attention to when I turn all the way like that. There's also some weird stuff with my outline on my chin. It doesn't really come in and out correctly. It's not really at the right angle. I don't really know why. And also, I actually just noticed that I have a hole in my hair on the very edge, like near that yellow plus sign on the right side of the screen. You can see there's a little black dot on there. It looks like I have a hole in my hair. Also, speaking of holes in my body, there's a hole right on my chest, right in the middle. There's a, oh god, is that my arm being disconnected? Yeah, it looks like my arm is disconnected. Yeah, when I like move myself back and forward, you can really tell. My arm's disconnected from my shoulder right there. And then I've also got like a hole in my, the arm on the right side of the screen, my left arm. The line art for my collarbone doesn't quite go in the right place. Also, I'd say that the lines on my neck are a little bit odd. Yeah, some weird stuff there. When I'm wearing this outfit too, anytime that I go like down and tilt my head like this, my body shading doesn't cover the fluff on my jacket correctly, so it just kind of like goes off weirdly. It's only on that side. This side is okay, but this side, the one that I'm like looking towards right now, you can see the shadow just kind of runs off of the fluff. Also, the netting, the blue part of the netting kind of disconnects from my body. It doesn't go all the way to the top on some angles here. Also, speaking about the fluff in general, it is not fantastic. There's a lot of points where it kind of looks weird or it fades in and out as I turn my body around. It's not really, you know, perfect in any sense of the word. Yeah, and then also right here you can see that my shirt kind of peeks up above where my jacket is, only on the side angles like this. Yep. Zooming out so that I don't show you my boobs up close, but when I turn on this outfit, you can see that my sleeve kind of clips into the body and shows my skin due to how I did some masking stuff on these angles. I usually just try and hide it as best as I can. Also, I have a crossed arm toggle. It does not look good with this. Some of my arms look really weird at certain angles. Multiple arms look weird at certain angles. Also, the shading on some of the arm pieces just kind of goes off the side of the arm. I've got to turn off the outline that I have on for this, but I colored outside of the lines a little bit on some of the pieces of my hand. I had to completely remove the sleeve from the tablet on this outfit because I could not make it work properly. And speaking of, this tablet has a lot of issues with it. My wrist disconnects like this here. My arm disconnects on certain angles on the side, on the left there. There's just a lot of problems with this tablet in general. But I mean, when it's in motion, when I'm using it, people don't really notice, you know? They don't really see all of that. The belt on this outfit doesn't really go in the right place on the bottom part there. It like digs into the skirt sometimes. When I remove the jacket on this one, the bow just like pops in and out weirdly. And in general, the bow was kind of annoying and hard to get in the right place and hard to make work. It doesn't really look super good, but I just kind of ignore it a lot of time. Also, the shading on the shirt goes on to the arm here. And of course my belly has these weird lines that kind of pop in and out, and my arms are kind of not entirely connected right. You can see some weird lines there too. When I take my hair off, my head shrinks or enlarges depending on if the hair is coming off or going on again. At this angle, this looks okay. At this angle, this looks terrible. What the heck is happening to the top fluff? Why is it doing that? There's two things that I'm not going to show you on camera, but you'll just have to trust me on. One is that my boob physics look fine when I'm facing forward and doing this, but when I face to the side and do this, the boob that is on the outside bounces more than the boob that's on the inside. So like, next time you see me bouncing at this angle, you can like look at my outer boob and watch it flail around a lot more than the other one. And then the other thing that I'm not going to show you, but I'll tell you about, is that somehow I seem to have managed to leave my crotch exposed at certain angles, but you can't usually tell because it's covered by something and it's dark enough that it blends in with the shorts, but you can really tell when I'm wearing my swimsuit. But before you go looking for it just to see that, just a little disclaimer that it's not sexy, there's nothing down there. I look like a Barbie doll that's completely neutered, and also it kind of just looks like a skin flesh sort of blop of color that sometimes appears at certain angles of physics. The juice sipping animation that I made just kind of slides along my mouth and doesn't actually like sip from the juice, but like when it's far enough away you can't really tell. And also, the juice box in general is this plain, ugly-looking purple color. My idea was that I was going to swap out the juice box pieces to be different pieces every once in a while, and I just haven't done that. So I just have this blank, like, purple box that is completely indistinct from anything and doesn't really look all that appetizing. Oh yeah, you remember those crossed arms? They look terrible at like most angles and with most outfits. The only way that I think that they really look good is facing forward. Oh, and on this angle, looks like, I don't know if that's just because, yeah, that's just because of the crossed arms. Looks like my arm is being eaten by something there, so that's good. I love that for me. So yeah, on different outfits, still doesn't really look better. Ooh, wow, that's a cool one. I didn't even notice that one before. Looks like the highlight goes through the arms. The elbow just sticks out really far. Let's see. Let's do this outfit. Yeah, this one is supposed to have sleeves and just doesn't on this one. And then just check this just in case. This looks okay. I mean, the angles still aren't good really, but you know, it is what it is. The point of all of this is to say that artists and live 2D creators make a lot of mistakes, and you're never gonna get something that's completely perfect in any way. And a lot of it isn't stuff, like I didn't notice any of this stuff when I finished my model the first time. I've only noticed it from like using this for about almost 5 months now. And I think that, you know, a lot of the time we're really critical and harsh to a lot of creators for making those tiny little mistakes. Like, how could you not have seen that? But like, when you're creating something that has, I think this model has like 800 layers or something. And that's like, it's all different pieces. Like I mean, each one of my eyes has a million different pieces to it. My hair is all multiple pieces. All of the shading for my hair is its own piece. All of the pieces of my jacket, like all the fluff pieces are their own separate pieces. There's like 4 or 5 different fluff pieces just here. So yeah, there's a lot of things to account for, and a lot of angles to account for, and a lot of toggles to account for a lot of the time. And you just can't imagine that these creators will do everything perfectly every single time that they make something. And you can't try to make everything, like, you can't even hope that everything that you make is always going to be perfect. There's always going to be some sort of flaw, but when you see things in motion, when you're watching things happen, as long as nothing really looks that, heinous to the eye, then you're usually going to be completely fine. Just go out there and make things and don't be held back by your perfectionism. I know it's hard, I know, but just do it. Good luck, have fun, bye!